God bless your family. This is Pastor A.D. Finkley, Senior Pastor of Global Restoration Center. Hey, listen, I am glad to be on with you tonight. It's been a while since I've been on YouTube on my personal page, but hey, nonetheless, we've made space. It is late. I am tired. Hey, I've been going since 6 o'clock this morning, but you know what? I still got a little bit more to go. I'm so glad that we have this time to spend together. So much we got to talk about. Hey, I want to kind of get right to it. What I have been up to lately. I'm just talking about what I've been up lately. I know this video probably says Thursday's talk, but it's actually Wednesday, so I haven't had a chance to get to Thursday yet. So I'm just a little bit early, but hey, it's just one of those things. I just couldn't hold it to myself any longer. So anyway, what I've been working on lately, I've just been kind of trying to become a guru on so many fronts. And what I mean when I said we're trying to become a guru, I'm trying to learn how to work this social media thing. I'm just trying different things because, as a pastor, I'm telling you, one of the things that I am having a challenge with in the city that I'm pastoring is connecting to people. Back in the I guess we'll say early 2000s, late 90s, the way that you connect, you just kind of had time to go out and door knock, on Sundays or Saturdays or something like that, and you kind of, you was kind of able to connect that way. But since time has changed and things are so busy and you really don't have the extra time, if you're not necessarily popular, then you've got to discover some kind of way to get noticed or to get in front of some people that that don't know you, that don't attend somebody else's church. And so I think one of the ways to do that, looking at some of the research that I've looked at, is to utilize social media. Well, that's all right to utilize social media, but you got to know how to use it. You got to know how to have certain content to reach certain people. You got to know how to get your stuff in front of people, because it's just not going to be put in front of people just because you posted it online. And so there are certain little things that you have to do. There's certain algorithms and certain things you better pay attention to. And what I'm finding out, that you have to kind of watch some of those videos, whether it be on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, and sometimes we overlook those things, but hey, nonetheless, those things are there to kind of help you navigate on their platform. And so as a local pastor here in the city, I'm trying to get in front of some people that normally I would have no interaction with. I want to be able to connect with those people. Perhaps those people will, ultimately turn to not just parishioners. I wouldn't say parishioners, because you just don't want people to come and, sit. But, hopefully getting in front of some of those people and connecting with some of them, on where they're at, will be able to, we'll be able to develop some kind of level of relationship, and they ultimately become active members in our congregation. And so I've been just on this quandary. And I'm telling you, if you are a senior leader that's looking at this, it's maybe one of the things that you want to really, really look into is utilizing social media. The reason I say that is because all of your major churches are doing it, and they're doing it very well. And as you can see, as a result, they're just connecting with people all over the world. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people, sometimes millions of people all over the world. And what it is they have a team that is a paid staff that is there working this social media, whether it's Periscope, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, all of these different medias, Snapchat, all of these different medias. These people are sitting here, they're paid staff, and they're working this stuff, and they're staying connected and staying engaged with the culture. And if we don't, as churches, if we don't learn to master this platform, and it's not all about you putting on there that, you're going to, invite somebody to your, your potluck. Okay, people are not going to pay attention to that. It's not just about you inviting people to, your latest service. Listen, they don't know you, so they're not necessarily going to come to your pastoral appreciation service or your church anniversary. It's kind of like a home church event. You might even just have a dinner and save that money, unless you have a friend that you just want to come over and preach. But I'm talking about connecting with people, meeting people where they are. People are on social media, and so if we don't learn how to really, I'm saying this is like the new evangelism tool. If we don't learn how to connect with people where they are, then we're going to suffer, and the world is going to utilize this platform. They're going to just gather the attention of people while we sit aside on sideline and wonder what in the world has happened. And it's not because we don't have the opportunity to utilize this platform, but we had the opportunity, but we didn't, seize it. And so I just been in this quandary lately, just trying to figure this platform out, because I have to become a master at it. I don't have a whole bunch of time, but I got to make sure that I'm able to connect with people outside of my church, and not only just connect with people outside of my church, but I got to be able to connect with people that are unchurched, because that's really who I'm trying to connect with. If you're saved, then most people who are saved, especially in the Bible Belt, they'll attend somebody's church at least once a week. But those who are unchurched, they don't attend anybody's church. I'm not saying they don't attend anybody's church. They may not attend anybody's church physically. It may be an online thing. They may be watching T.D. Jakes. They may be some other big name preacher. They may be watching them on live stream and catching their services, their archive services, and that's their church. But one thing is certainly true about people, and it will never go away. And the key thing about people is people always need relationship. And so even though you can watch church on live stream, you still miss the element of relationship. And so if the church, especially a smaller church, if a smaller church doesn't discover how to bridge that gap of, relationship, how to develop some level of working relationship, and it's the only way you can really do it is via social media. If we don't learn how to do that, then we're going to miss out on reaching the greater harvest, because the greater harvest is on social media, right? And so I just got a little tearful now. I guess I'm getting emotional. But anyway, like I said, I've been going since 6 o'clock, so I'm a little sleepy. But hey, nonetheless, we're still working it, right? But if the church doesn't learn how to connect with these people, to build some level of relationship, and some level of relationship outside with the unchurched, not necessarily the church. I mean, you can put things on there that minister to the church. We do those kind of things. But far as content wise, you better make sure that your content is content that can reach somebody who doesn't understand church lingo. So you have to kind of utilize your biblical principles and things of that nature. You have to put it in a format where the unchurched can get it, where they can kind of grab hold of it. Because if not, then, you're going to get scrolled by. You're just going to, the only people that's really going to like your stuff are the people that attend your church. And that's the last thing that you want. And so I just been kind of in a quandary. I've been kind of, trying different things. I've been, watching a couple of videos, trying to get some information, because I got to make sure that I'm doing what it takes to connect with people in my city, outside of my city, in my community, outside of my community, that may not know that our church is here in Winston-Salem, because that's where I'm at, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, if you're wondering. That may not know. People say, well, Winston's a small town. Man, there's over 200 and, I think it was like 227,000 people in Winston-Salem alone, not including Forsyth County. So everybody doesn't know where you're at. There's so many churches in the city, it's hard to keep up. And so in order to be, above average, you're going to have to do something different, because the members of your church, they only know a certain select of people. And most people who are churched are attending the church. The only people that they know are other church people. and so they don't really know anyone who is unchurched to outside of coworkers, especially because we spend so much time at work. So the dynamics have changed. And so what I'm currently working on in our ministry, and I recommend that to any pastor, especially if you're starting a church, even if you got one started, you need to find some people to really work on your social media so you can connect with people, outside of your church and also the unchurched, because door knocking, it worked years ago. It doesn't work now. Mailers worked years ago. It doesn't work now. You get so much junk mail until a lot of times you just take that stuff and throw it in the trash can. I mean, really. So I don't think that that's an effective way. As a matter of fact, I'll go as far as to say, we're on the radio now, but I'm telling you, even with that, it's just not, I don't know if it's really effective. It will put us before church people who attend churches, and 9 times out of 10, if they're listening to a gospel radio station, more than likely they already attend the church. And so it's really not going to benefit. It's really not going, to a certain extent, it's really not going to benefit your church and growth. But where's everybody at, man? Everybody's on social media. Everybody is on social media. And here's another thing. One of the things, it's a statistical fact. You have to do your own research. I'm not here to give you statistics, but I'm just here to, lay some things out. But I'm telling you this, a lot of people are on Facebook, but they're still lonely because man will always, that will never go away. When God created man, and I'm not preaching to you, but I'm just going to, give you some biblical truth here. When God created man, he said it was not good for Adam to be alone. So God had already created, well, we could go back further than that, but I'm not going to get into that. But God had already created man with the desire for companionship. When God said, let man, let us make man in our image. Well, we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. The woman was already in the man. God opened up the man and made the woman out of the man. So the woman had to be already in the man. Is all I'm going to say about that. I'm not getting into the deep theological debate. I'm not going there. I'm talking social media. And I'm talking about the quandary that I've been in trying to solve this puzzle. Anyway, and so even though there's social media, there's always been this need in man, and there will always be this need in man for relationship. And so I believe that if we capitalize on relationship and the way that you build a relationship with the unchurched, because this is where the unchurched is at. This is where they're at. But even though they're there, they have the same problems. They have the same struggles. They have the same challenges in life. Listen, I know people say, oh, this is just a godless generation. I know they say that, but in actuality, more unchurched people believe in God than what you think. They're just not crazy about coming to your church. That's all. And so, if you're going to utilize social media, I would say this, don't necessarily, not saying that you can't, but through research, what I've learned is don't waste a whole lot of time inviting people to your church services because they're not going to come. They not saying that not because they don't want to come, but they don't know you like that. And if I don't know you like that, it's like one of my neighbors that I don't know saying, come over for barbecue. I'm like, nah, I don't think so, because I don't know you like that. It's like me running up to the grocery store and walking up to a guy, and the guy says, hey man, would you come over and have some burgers? No, I don't think I'm having any burgers. And so that's the kind of way the unchurched, who we're really supposed to be reaching, kind of feels about our, oh, we're having, why don't you come over? We're going to have a vacation Bible school. The kids that come out, but the parents, you understand what I'm saying? We have to make sure that we don't utilize social media for our church events. Fine, there's nothing wrong with sharing it. There's other church people that would like to come and fellowship with you, but you got to remember the unchurched is not into that, right? They're not into your singing. They may come. I'm not saying that they're not going to come, but if you really want to try to reach them, and like I said, this is kind of an experiment for me. So what I've been doing is I've been changing, a lot of the stuff that I've been doing on social media. I'm not going to give you all of the details, but I'm going to tell you that I've been kind of changing stuff. I've been looking at content, as far as content. What kind of content are we putting on there? Who is the content geared towards, how could I get someone to stop their scroll? How could I get somebody to pay attention? What kind of content would reach somebody who is saved as well as somebody who is unsaved? What kind of content could I put together that would reach somebody who is unchurched as well as church? And so I'm trying to find a nice little medium in between there, but it's all about content. Your content has to be something that anybody, and there are issues that all of us face. It doesn't matter who it is. Really, it doesn't matter who it is. There's some things that all of us face that there are biblical answers to that we could utilize. Here we go again. We could utilize, biblical instruction that's not so biblical. I don't know I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it does. Biblical content that's not so biblical. So what I mean is we can share the principles of God that can connect with that individual who may be unchurched. Maybe went to church when they was a child, because people have. I read a good book by George Barna, and I recommend that. Book to especially someone who's pastoring the church, or someone who's concerned about the growth of their church. It's called Churchless, and one of the things that he points out is, churchless people who don't go to church. Really, the harvest, the harvest is ripe, is what the Lord said. They're not necessarily into church lingo, and so you can say some things without the church lingo. Work on your content, and your content will be more appealing to them, right? And there's so many other things that I could say, but I'm not going there, right? There's so many other things I could say, but it's just something I've been working on. It's something I've been working on. So I haven't been on YouTube in a while. I'm glad to be back on tonight. I forgot to change the label of this video saying Thursday, because it is not Thursday. It is actually Wednesday, and it's a chilly night, but hey, I just got back from Bible study, and so I was with the saints, and I taught a little lesson, and I was online. I was screaming, right, working the social media guru, trying to get people to tap in, because what do I want to do? I want to connect. I want to connect. I want to connect. I want to be able to connect, because it's not necessarily the golden key, but it is a key. It is a key. It is a key. And so I think when you begin to utilize that and work it, then you'll begin to see some level of results. Anyway, friends, I am so glad that I had this time with you. I believe I'm talked out now. I don't know how long I've been going, but I've been going for a while, right? So anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hop off of here. I'm so glad that we were able to be together, right? I'm glad about that. I'm glad about that. I'm glad we was able to spend some time together tonight. And you see my eyes kind of roaming around, because I'm kind of trying to find some things, right? And so here we go. I'm trying to get some things together. There we go, right? So you see my eyes kind of rolling around, because I'm kind of doing more than one thing. But anyway, hey, I'm trying to make sense out of all of it, right? So here it goes. I want you to understand this, and please hear me good, right? I want you to be able to understand this. I had to turn away for a little bit. Try to figure out how to utilize social media. You got to figure it out. You have got to figure it out, friend. You got to figure out how to use it, especially if you're pastoring the church. And you listen. You want people to attend. You got to connect with them some kind of way. I'm sorry, especially if you're starting one. Man, there's so much I could say. So much I could say. You got to find a way to connect with people. You got to find a way to connect with them. That is my quest. I'm going to find the answer. And I think it's several keys, but I'm going to find the keys. And once I find the keys, I'm going to make it my business to utilize those, right? So anyway, listen, I pray that you are having a beautiful, beautiful night. And I want you to have a wonderful rest of the week. And maybe next week I'll be here Thursday instead of Wednesday. But I just had to try some things out, all right? So God bless.